It's a pleasure coming on to your three phases program. Dave, it's been a long time since we connected, and gives us an opportunity to exchange some ideas, and really appreciate the work you've done with the three phases, and especially the Thunder program. Outstanding. And for myself, for the coaches around, it's great to have that access and having that opportunity to meet other coaches, and for all the other coaches that are on tonight. It's great to have you on, and I appreciate you taking this, hopefully this hour, and hopefully there's an opportunity to grab a few nuggets and see where they fit in, or if they do fit in, or see if there's anything else that you can apply. And it was funny, just over the weekend, I heard a quote. I wanted to make sure I got this right. It's from Andy Andrews. Adversity is preparation for greatness. Holy smokes, every one of us, I suspect, has gone through some type of adversity, and our patience has been tested. And I suspect whether it's large or small, somewhere down the road, we've had to deal with this issue that we're dealing with, this COVID stuff. And all I hope it does is bring us closer to that greatness that we're looking for. And this space and time where we at, I just hope it gives us an opportunity to, as we get involved in these clinics, via Zoom, webinar, or whatever it is, hopefully it'll end up making an impact, and it'll be something that on our journey, we'll be able to look back and say, remember what we were, and I tell you, it's gonna be awesome. And these kind of Zooms and webinars, I hope they don't go away. I hope there's a blend. Like, I've had opportunities to sit in Zooms and webinars from guys down south, whether it's Tom Brown or James Stanley, and guys that you could just grab a few nuggets and you go, that would work in our, yes, that's great. So I think I hope those stay around. But the other part is that I will never give up the opportunity to go to a clinic, talk face to face, and sit down after the session has been presented, sit around with other coaches around that watering hole and talk about what's happening in their world and our world and that relationship. That is what will bring us to that greatness that we're looking for. And it's something that I'm looking forward to, at some point time down this journey. There's going to be a few detours, there's going to be a few bumps, but our destination, and hopefully we get there in a month or two, is that game competition on the field, where we've prepped our players and we go out and see how well we've prepped them and how well they execute and how much fun we've had. So what I'm looking to address tonight is punt return. And within our program, we call this flipping the field. Now, you may wonder, okay, so what do I mean by flipping the field? Flipping the field for us, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a lot of information in regards to what we do here. But flipping the field is for our offense. We want to make sure that if we have an opportunity to grab that ball and move it down the field, that gives our offense a shorter field to get points. On the other side, if we have to go out and defend our territory, we want to make sure we're pushing that ball and we're making that opponent take the long route. Give our defense some long field to work with. That's flipping the field. That's what we want to look at as we end up introducing our special teams. Now, I know what's going to end up happening is I'm going to talk about philosophy, just a little bit about our philosophy. We're going to talk a little bit about personnel. We're going to put some structure in place. And then we're going to take a look at some on-field film from practice, and then we'll go right to game film. So hopefully we get this done together within this time allotment that I've got here. But I just want to make sure that if there is a language, I'm going to be talking in the language that we talk here. And Dave, just before we got on here, I'm not sitting in my office, just to make sure this is clear, correct? I'm not sitting in my office. So I want to just make sure that this presentation is coming from an office that is attached to our strength and power office or our power unit. So it is not in any of our buildings. Okay, so just to make sure we're clear on that. I'm going to talk some structure, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that we end up talking about what we do with our team. Coach, I'm going to just share. I'm going to share screen now, and I want to end up taking a look at this. Okay. Dave, have we got everything? How does it look?
We're perfect, Coach. We got it.
Awesome. Good. Now, one of the things that we want to do, in relation to flipping the field and punt return is that we want to make sure that, hey, in any game, and it might be a little different in high school versus our university youth sport game, but we're anticipating anywhere between 35 and 40 plays. And we want to make sure that of those 35 to 40 plays, they're just not another play. This is a key impact big play. 35 to 40 yards of field position. And what we want to do with our team is we want to make sure that we create an identity within these 35 to 40 plays in each game. And we establish this identity in training camp. So one of the things that I had an opportunity to be a part of is Coach Dickinson, working with him when he was doing special teams. He always referred to his special teams as his special forces. Well, I bit and I grabbed a hold of that, and I'm using some of the concepts on that, and it's something that our players can grasp. Now, hey guys, if you don't know what special forces is, let me just suggest this, and I do this a lot. Ask Suri. Suri, define special forces. Well, this is what Suri will tell you, that special forces are units of specialized operation. Absolutely. We are specialized in our operations. Suri will tell you that the unit undertakes covert operations. Well, we may throw a fake in there once in a while. And also, Suri will tell you that we take other distinct operations. Well, onside, defending the onside, those are all distinct, one big time plays. So when you take a look at special forces, we want to take and instill that concept of the 35 and 40 plays. These are key plays in this 3-hour game. So during training camp, we have an opportunity to let our players know what special forces is. And you know what? YouTube is great. There's a lot of YouTube stuff out there, and we talk about rise and shine and the grind, and this all provides information for our players, and we identify ourselves with special forces. And with these special forces, we end up anticipating, and we move together, and we identify with this. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be something that you guys out there want to grab a whole, like any concept. We grabbed this one. I was comfortable with it, Coach Dickinson, and like Coach Musica, our defensive coordinator. He ends up, hey, he works with superheroes. So he's always talking about superheroes. So that's something that the guys identify with, or it's something that it's talked about. And we, with special forces, we identify, and now we have to find out, see what our mission is. I mean, our mission is to go out and flip the field. Okay? So when you look at it, when our field or our team hits the field, I want to find out to see how we're going to do this. So this is something that we introduced to our players during training camp. Okay? And this is, everybody's got, whether it's a pyramid or different ways of putting together their concepts and their identity. I just used a pyramid, and some of the, just making sure that the top of it is flipping the field. Now, the foundation, when you take a look at it, is fun and work. Okay? We're going to go out as a special forces unit, and we're going to have fun. On the other end of that pyramid is our special forces are going to go out and do a lot of work. But it's got to be balanced. If you go out there and have fun, and you're in high spirits, and you're jovial, and you're just clowning around with no focus, you're not going to get anything done. Then on the other end, if you go out and it's imbalanced, all you go out there is do work. Yeah, it may end up leading to boredom, or, you're just going through the motions. It just becomes drudgery, and you're just putting in the work. So there's got to be a balance between fun and work. And you guys, your players, and which players will be going out there and having that fun. And you got to control them to make sure that they get focused to get the work done. And then the guys that'll be out there working hard, they're pounding it out there. And you got to sometimes just give them a little bit of fun so that there's that good work balance out there. And that's something that we want to instill in our players, that, hey, we're going to have fun, but we're going to work hard. While we're doing that, we're going to make sure that the fun and the work that we're doing, there's an assignment and responsibility. Okay? When you do this, this is what I look at this is what you do. My assignment, my responsibility. What's my assignment? This is what I do. Okay? And this is where the players will be asking, hey, coach, what am I doing? Okay? And then on the other side, this balance between fun and work is technique and alignment. Okay, so this is the how. How am I going to get that done? I've got an assignment, and this is how you're going to get it done. Those two questions have to be answered. So when you take a look at the fun, work, and flipping the field, you've got to have something that tells you how you're going to do it and what you're going to do. The why is on the top. We're flipping the field. Along with that, you've got perfect tackles and the finished execution. Perfect tackles, supporting the defense as they go down. Finished execution, supporting the offense, getting that first down, shortening the field for offense. And then two things that are momentum punchers out there. Giving up the football on a fumble or stealing the ball on a turnover. Momentum hits. Impact. Okay. Hey, I was just thinking, when you take a look at discipline, so I just reflect on the Super Bowl I just finished, and KC, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was in the second quarter, they were lining up for a field goal. And penalty was thrown, and there was an alignment offside. which gave Tampa Bay the ball back, go back in, and you don't want Brady on the field to go in and score. Penalty free. How many times in the game have you seen, you've been involved in, big return, and then there's that flag? Or you've got great coverage, but you're in the halo and there's no yards. Those two on the top, flipping the field. You can work hard, but if you don't have that discipline and protecting the ball, that momentum, it doesn't matter how hard you work, that'll kill you. Okay? But however it works, number one is we're going to have relentless effort. We are going to go out there, and this is how I define, and this is what our players know as relentless effort. You're going to outwork and you're going to out hustle your opponent. And your opponent may not just be those 45 guys or 50 guys on the other side. It's the guy that you line up against. You have to be one step faster than him. You've got to play on the edge of being physically close to the whistle. One of the things we talk about is making sure that when we build the pyramid, one thing that we can all depend on is that effort overcomes errors. You can work hard, and if you are one step faster, if you can out physical your opponent, flipping the field will be a result. So that's basically a quick philosophy as we look at it. And we put this in our special forces unit during training camp, and then we reflect on it during the season. Now, just a little bit about personnel. One of the things that we do here is now, and this may be something like when I look at the high school, man, the adjustments that you have to make sometimes are very minimal because, man, you've got how many players on the sideline? You got 30 guys on the roster, and sometimes 35, sometimes 40, but sometimes you want to put your best athletes on the field. So personnel adjustments may not end up being as significant. Like offensively, hey, you may end up taking a couple of the offensive linemen out. Linebackers come in, and your quarterback, well, he might be the punter. He might be another athlete out there. So minimum adjustments on personnel. Defensively, you might end up just taking out the defensive tackle or the nose tackle or a couple of the big guys up front, and the rest have to stay out there and play. But when they're out there, the key on personnel is to make sure that the right player's in the right position. At our level, we want to make sure that, hey, if we end up putting our player out there, we want to make sure that, hey, speed on speed, there are roles to play. So we want to make sure that the right player's in the right position. I'm not sure if there's much focus on matchups at the high school level, but I know at our level, we try to make as close to matchups as possible. That's my job to make sure that I'm watching film, making sure that I look at the opponent's personnel, making sure that when I put a player out there, we've got speed on speed, we've got power on power, we've got skill on skill. I want to make sure that our matchups provide us an opportunity to be successful. Now, this will reflect on the drills that we do. Everybody has to have a huge understanding of all the skills required for us to flip the field. So that to me is one of the key matchups, is making sure, or the key factors is the matchups, making sure that we win the matchups against our opponent. Now, here's a couple other things that I look at. I just go, hey, that center exchange, whether it's to a punter, the holder, however you look at it, that is something that is key to the special forces. Our focus with our kicking, with our snapper, let's just say that, our focus with our snapper is that we want to make sure that we have 4 snappers available throughout our 8, 10, 12 games. One of the things that happens with that snapper and what it does to your special forces is that it provides consistency, it provides confidence, and that confidence builds trust. That exchange between the center and the punter is huge. And fortunately, we've had an opportunity, or we've had a chance up here with the Husky Special Forces to have some great snappers. Emmett Timms, when he was here, he was a snapper, and Montreal Alouettes drafted him as a snapper. So he had that level of snapping that was at the pro level. That provided confidence. We knew it was consistent. That created trust. We knew that there weren't going to be any breakdowns there. We had Peyton Hall. He graduated this year, but last year, the last couple of years, Peyton was our long snapper, and he was at the pro level. I'll just tell you a little quick story about Peyton Hall. We had a series of games where we had Peyton was injured, lower body injury. He could snap the ball, but his coverage was a jog at the most. We talked to our coverage team, our punt team, our bomb squad, as we call them, and we asked them, would you rather have, hey, our backup snapper wasn't bad, but Peyton had built up so much trust. There was so much confidence. He was so consistent. They said, Coach, we would rather have Peyton snap. He doesn't have to cover. We'll make sure we bridge that. We'll take care of it. That's the unit of special forces working together. Our program with snappers here isn't just, hey, we're going to start working on it at training camp. It's a year-round program where we sit down with 4 guys at Christmas time or when they come back to school in January, and we start working on these guys. I mean, you got 4 snappers. They can work together as pairs, and you don't need a lot of room. We do it in our strength and power room here. We've got 14 and a half, 15 yards. They can fire that ball back and forth, and they can become consistent. They can provide that execution level that everybody can trust. And so when that applies to a game, critical. They know that, hey, that ball is going to be out in 2 seconds, 2.1 seconds, maybe at the most. This year, we had a freshman punting. It might be 2.2 seconds. But we knew that the snap was sound and there wasn't going to be any breakdown. Huge factor in special forces. If you're looking at that top pyramid, plays, momentum change, busters, making sure that that exchange is sound is a huge building block to flipping the field. Last thing on personnel, returners. Wow, returners, when you look at them, they have the opportunity to make the big play. When you're on that bomb squad, when you're out on that punt coverage team, and you're looking down at that punt returner, and it's Pinto, Travail Pinto, your red flag goes up, and you go, oh boy, okay, make sure you're sound all the way down, It puts pressure. That returner puts a lot of pressure on your coverage team. On the opposite side, when your return team, our Outlaws team goes out there, they know that anytime that returner touches the ball, there is an opportunity to put that thing way more than 10 yards, 20 yards. How many first downs can we get with that returner? A huge threat, a key factor in identifying players that could snap the ball and that can catch the ball and be a threat. Most of the time, hey, you're talking linebackers and your best athletes. So those are the things that we talk about and we work on personnel-wise and making sure that we're all in the position to support each other, okay? Right on 6 to 8, our players know this. I don't know if you've seen it before, but in the pyramid, the R and the E, relentless effort. T and A, technique and assignment. Our players have got to go out and do read 6 to 8. That's all they're doing. Read 6 to 8. Relentless effort, technique and assignment, 6 to 8 seconds. That's all they have to know. They have to be disciplined. They got to obey all the rules out there. Special forces are disciplined and they obey the rules. We will put them through training. We will put them through skills and drills so that we can push them to a level where they have to control themselves. That they are out there being disciplined so that they can push themselves and they can always play with that relentless effort. Always one step faster, always one step or one part more physical than their opponent. Those are the things that we want to do and have fun. Hooah! Well, we finish every one of our meetings with hooah. I'll yell out, hey, Pickett, break us down. And he'll get up and he'll just yell, special forces, and everybody will yell hooah. This is what the hooah stands for. I hear, I understand, I acknowledge. I hear what I have to do. I understand what I've got to do, and I acknowledge we've got to flip the field. Everybody in unison yells that out, and we end up going out to practice. Now, we've got to put some method to this. Okay, let's just take a look at it. And before we hit some of the skills and film work, I just want to put some method, put some foundation so that when we look at some film, it makes sense. Now, the things that we do, we talk about our punt team as our bomb squad, our punt return team as our outlaws. All of this put together, the players want to know, what am I doing? So as a coach, you've got to be able to put down, what do the players need to know in order to execute the X and O's? What do they need to know? Second thing that you end up having to do is, hey, how am I going to do it? That's what the players want to know. They want to know, what am I doing? They want to know, how am I going to do this? What you have to do is you have to put the information down of how they're going to do it so that what the players need to do, what do the players need to do in order to execute the X and O's. So what I'm going to do, and here's something that I think is a challenge for all of the coaches out there. More than just being a couple more plays in the game, hey, these are key impact plays. The players that go out there, they know what they're doing. They know how they're going to do it. They know why they're doing it. So we've got to, as a coach, I have to sit down and make sure that I've got an inventory of what the players need to know and what the players need to do. So when you take a look at our bomb squad, I'm just going to provide just a little bit of this is a little bit of the inventory that I go through, and I'll just add a whole bunch of stuff as we go through it here. When you take a look at the bomb squad, we run out onto the field pre-snap. We've got to make sure that we identify if there are 1 or 2 returners. Hey, if there's an overload, there's 11 up. Hey, there's 5 here, it's 6 there. We got to know our responsibilities. Aretta, what are we going to do? What direction is that punt going to go? And what's the body language of the opponent across from me? We know that opponents will line up, and with data and preparation, you can say, hey, 3 out of 10 times, 3 out of 8 times, they're going to be putting pressure on. As a player in special forces, you have to identify the differences between a player when he is returning or that player across from you is all keyed up and he's going to press the punter. Body language. Hey, just watch some film, find out, see if you can identify which 3, which 4. Based on the body language of that player, is he coming or going? Is he going to take you, or is he going to try to get through you? Hey, once the snap happens, okay, we talk about the players in the box. Hey, based on the alignment of that guy that, oh no, let's go back 1 step. Sorry. I said, hey, what kind of protection does our bomb squad have? What do we do? Are we a zone team or are we a man team? And I always flip it around and I go, hey, if you're a defensive back and a zone coverage is called and a receiver comes into your zone, that's your man, right? Okay. If you line up on the bomb squad and you're the left guard and there's a guy over top of you or outside of you in that space that is assigned to you, if there's somebody in there, that's your man. Although it's in that zoned area, my inside foot to my partner's inside foot, that area, if there's somebody in that area, that's my man. So we break it down and say, guys, in your area, in your zone, in that space, if there's somebody in that, it's your man. So in the end, we break it down as a man-to-man protection. Now, we aren't going to go chasing guys around saying, hey, I got 32 and 32 is going all over and I'm going to start running around chasing. No. That space from my inside foot to the inside foot of my partner, that's my space. If somebody threatens that space, I'm going to go to my box technique and I'm going to either use a 1 or 2 kick step technique. That's based on alignment. 1-step technique is that guy's on my eye to eye, ear to ear, nose to nose, and there is no sense for me taking a huge 2-step kick. I'm going to take a 1 jab and I'm going to go straight to my punch. If you're playing on the edge and he is going to threaten outside, hey, no different than an offensive tackle, kick, punch, release. And now we've got coaching points, as I've got indicated on the bottom, coaching points on our kicks. Number 1, we're going to keep our shoulders square. We're going to have our shoulders parallel to the lines. We're going to make sure that we end up, if we do have a kick step, our toes are still perpendicular to the white lines. We're not going to open them up. We are going to kick step bound, 1 short one, and we are going to go strike. We are going to go punch. Same principle on that 2-step outside kick. Keep those shoulders square, kick, toes still perpendicular to the white line. And you just want to make sure then that you strike. And when you punch, there is a target that we want to deal with. And that is with that one hand, we want to make sure it's on his sternum and we restart. If there's a key word in protection, it's called restart. We were talking about the release or our timing between our snapper and our punter's release. Our punter's release is anywhere between 2, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2 at some, but if we restart that opponent that's in our area, there's no way that that player can regather and go block the punt if it's a smooth connection and kick. Then it's the release. Well, I'm going to punch, and then I'm either going to swim, rip, swat to get my release and get to my lane. Once we start getting into lanes, we start talking about space. And on a bomb squad, if you're in space, you want to stack. That means you're one step ahead of your opponent, and you're going to make sure that you're stacking him behind you. And the only thing that the referee see is his hand on your back. And then we talk about our finish. And that ends up being that vice. Which shoulder am I tackling with? Outside in, inside out, angles, second in, taking the ball. On the edge, our guys out there on edge, we've got a shot player and a cleanup player, and it's all angles. Okay, that's just a quick description. Okay, inventory is key when you sit down and you want to take a look at putting your drills and skills. This should be done before training camp starts. You've got this all set out because in time, if there is a breakdown, you want to know where you want it, where the breakdown occurred. Just a quick look at our Outlaws team. Pre-snap, cover all eligibles. Whoever has an opportunity to get the ball, whether it's a throw or run, we've got to make sure that they're covered down. We've got to make sure that we've got punter control, which means that somebody's responsible off the edge to make sure that the punter, if it's an errant snap, if he steps inside, outside, if he bobbles the ball, we've got punter control. Then it's technique and assignment, whether it's dual responsibility, and we'll go through some of the technique or whatever your responsibility is. And then we talk about the alley of return. Keep your guy out of the alley. We are on Outlaws. We're playing one-on-one. You've got to win your one-on-one out there. Keep your guy out of the alley. The alleys are defined as such. Hash mark to boundaries, 24 yards. We want to have hash mark to the top of the numbers. That's the middle alley. Another 10 yards, the boundary to the bottom of the numbers. That's our boundary alley. So just keep your guy out of the alley. We have got a middle return, we call it, or I can't even remember what we call it. Keep them out of that boundary. Keep them out of that alley. And then our field alley is from the hash marks field side. Okay, that's part of your technique assignment, making sure that you know where the alley is. Snap, attack, you're going to punch and steer. I'm going to show you some clips on how we work that release. And then we end up working the stock and then release, or the stock and release off the edge. And what we end up doing is once you start getting into space, either you've got a bump technique, you're on his hip all the way down, you've got speed, or you've got the bubble technique. You're going to bubble and you're going to make sure that you end up either catch punching at face. I'll show you the tech or some picture on that, or you lock and ride them. And that's all you want to end up doing. Just lock and ride them or wash them by. But those are the two things. Now, we were talking about restart as a key word for the punt team. If I was to have a key word or a key picture to put in the player's head, it's you, me, and the ball. When you've got your player that you're responsible for, when that ball is moving up the alley, all you want to have is you, that cover guy, you, me, and the ball. That's the way it should be lined up. So if you can talk to your players in that, you meet ball, hey, make sure that you hit that space. You are in between the tackler and the ball carrier. And we'll talk, and we'll see some of that later on a clip. Okay. Some of the things that we can also talk about here is on that return, steer, release. We've also got the slingshot. But the bottom line is, Rita, 6 to 8. Take a look at all of these. Rita, 6 to 8. We're going to put some clips together or some information together now just to show you what these look like. Okay. We've got, and we have an opportunity. Coach Flory just gives us a great chance to work some drills to make sure that we've got the emphasis on some of the skills required. And he gives us a couple of pockets of time where, hey, all we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we understand all of the techniques. This is what you have to do. And this is how you're going to do it. Okay? Give them the experience. Give them the feel. Because when you go out onto the field, why are you doing the drills? Every one of these drills captures a component of the structure. I'm up in the meeting. By the time I get to the field, I forget. I look at the tape, I look at the clips, and I remember, oh yeah, something like that. But when I go down onto the field and I have to line up and I have to steer him off the line of scrimmage, now I know. That's what I got to do. That's how I'm going to do it. Okay? So when we evaluate the players, and the players all know this, number one, we're going to evaluate effort. What's our most important thing? Relentless effort. So we got to make sure that, hey, you're fast out there. You're outworking the guy that you're responsible for, or he's responsible for you. You're outworking him. Then we'll look at technique. Are you using the technique? Are you out there executing the how? This is how I've got to get it done. This is what I've got to do. If at some point in time those two things are sound, then you have to look at the structure. Maybe it's me. Maybe I have to look at the structure and say, hey, maybe we've got to get different leverage. If I want to work that, I've got to get different leverage. Or I've got to make sure that that's a fast guy, because right now it could be, and you've got to make sure that the structure's sound. So those are the things that we put together that our players, when we hit the field, I want to make sure that they know why we're out there. We're going to flip the field, and we're going to make sure that we know what we're doing and how we're going to get it done. So I am just going to flip over. And be patient with me, because sometimes technology and Friesen don't get along. So, Dave. Dave, are you with me?
I am, Coach.
Have you got the full screen that looks like a practice?
Nope, right now we're still on the PowerPoint. So you'll want to stop sharing and then.
Oh, yes. See, there you go.
Share again.
Thanks, Coach. Okay, perfect. Good. Now I go back here. I'm glad you're guiding me through this, Coach. This is awesome. What does it look like?
There we go. We're cooking with gas now. We got full screen film.
Woo! Okay. I'm gonna just play this through. I just want to make sure that we've got. Okay, I'm just gonna check here. I'm gonna just give me a couple of seconds. I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna go through and we're gonna take a look at our bomb squad first, and then we're gonna take a look at our outlaws. So, Coach, how does it look right now?
Perfect.
And we've got 76 and number 9 lined up.
We do, and I can even tell you that 76 is holding the bag.
Awesome. We're on the same page. Picture looks good. And this is a drill that when you take a look at it, we've got Ben Whiting, number 4, on the double line. The technique he's using is the 2-step kick. Okay. And on the other side here, we have got Reed Leclerc, and he's got his opponent right on his face. So we're just going through the technique. Hey, you can see that we just got hats on. So this isn't going to be fit. We're going to make sure that we know what we're doing and how we're going to get it done. So you can watch Ben. He's got a 2-step kick, punch, and release. Okay. And if you take a look at Reed on the other side, there's no big kick step. He's got his man right on top of him. Hey, you want to restart him and then let him go. Okay. And then it's your responsibility to get out into lanes. Okay. So we've got stations like this, and you can see here, Coach Houle is correcting Clovis. He's going, okay, hey, the ball is in the middle here. Okay, check your feet. Your stance, your outside foot is back. Okay, the ball is here. There you go. Toes pointed up. Okay, he's on top of me. It's just one straight punch. I don't know if you've seen the punch, but that's it right there. And you've got Jake on the other side. Hey, this isn't physical. We're just getting it done right now. Okay, so that's one station. And that's all it is just working the steps, knowing that, hey, you flip, you got a man wide, you got 2-step. You got a man on top of you. It's just one step. It's a punch. And what's the key word? Restart. You've got to take his momentum away, make him restart, and our trust, our confidence is on our snap all the way through to our launch. Okay. Next comes our release. Okay. Once you get on top, hey, he's holding you back. Ooh, that didn't look good. I didn't like that. So you have Kronk over here. He's got a squat and a rip. Okay. You end up working that. Now, we don't have the bags here, but you can work it with the bags. And you've got on the top, you've got Avery. Okay. And he's working a rip technique. Okay. And that's just, hey, we're working the release to get us into space. So you got the punch, he's still trying to grab onto you, and you end up working that technique, getting him off you so that you get into space. Once you get into space, what we talked is about stacking. Okay. You want run down, and what you want to do is you want to get to the halo, but you want to feel the guy and you want to move into him, and you want to make sure that, hey, if at some point in time that ref sees, look at, we've got Nixon putting his hand on top of Jace's back. Well, all you need to do is see a ref sees that, he's going, oh, that's got to be a flag. So that's one. Now we've come down. We have gone through our steps. We've gone through our release. We've gone through our space. And once we get down to the halo, now we have what we call our vice. You come down on your vice, you're breaking down. Which shoulder am I tackling with? Am I outside in? Am I inside out? What role have I got here? Okay, so you've just busted it down. You've used your rip technique to get downfield. You're around the halo. Now you're going to vice the ball carrier. Okay, outside in, inside out. Good breakdown. Okay, so this is just working the play. Okay, working it. And just checking, hey, you got to make sure we got maintain leverage. Okay, when you see Thackerty here, when you take a look at Malcolm, he ends up, hey, shuffle down, break, break. You got to work your feet, good base, leverage. If you're outside in, you got to make sure that you end up chasing them to your help. Okay, and this is where we can become that physical part. Okay, so this is just another drill. So this is finishing. Chewy's got to make sure he's got leverage out there. Josh has got to make sure, hey, I've got outside leverage. Where's my help? Okay, next we come down to the play. We're going to come down the field. And now we've got our space. We don't have anybody stacking us, but we are going to now put these pieces together and we're going to vice. And we were talking about our edge players. One guy's got shot, the other one's got cleanup. Outside edge. So this is Daniel Perry, number 87. He's got shot. Jesse Kuntz, our receiver, he's got cleanup, and then we've got 90, and that's Kronk. He's going to be coming down. Now, the only thing on this one is Kronk, I think he may have ended up crossing over or getting too far over the leverage, okay? He's got to hold it just a little longer, just in case that returner decides to pump that thing back into the field, okay? Although, when we've got the edge over here, we've got Connor, they may be able to come back and support, but they're taking leverage in case they work that field or boundary. They've got the angle of pursuit. Okay, so this is just now our distribution. When we break from our release, we want to be covering the field 5 yards apart. And this gives us a good picture of the 5 yards apart and how we're going to squeeze on it. Matt there is going to be giving us our edge play. Kronk is over pursuit again, but Pick is coming inside out. And we've got backside leverage. Okay, with Corbin, we just got to make sure that we end up taking our angles. There you go. Wilhelm come in. He's got shot. He's going to come in. George has got cleanup. And then we've got KC, our nose tackle. He's coming down the field. He may have to, just to make sure that he doesn't pop that thing back. But we've got two guys. We've got Whitey and we've got things coming back on the backside, good angles. Okay. So when you take a look at this, I mean, this is just now, hey, all of a sudden that returner, this is Adam Macart. Hey, he's not going to take the edge. He's coming right back inside. Vice tackle. Outside in, inside out. Okay. So that's our series of stations for our bomb squad. Each one of those components, I'll show you in game film so that you can actually, hey, we're just out there learning how to do it, what we're doing, okay? We have to ramp up that relentless effort in competition. But let's go through. I want to go through some of our outlaw technique here, and then we want to just take a look at some clips. Okay, so right off the bat here, you can see Coach Houle standing there, and he's giving our returners. He's giving Jace Peters, 36, and Clovis Lamika, number 18. He's giving him, hey, what's the return? How am I going to control this punt cover man? Down the middle. Okay, it's a middle return. So now we've got to leverage him and steer him. There's Coach Houle. It's a right return. There it is. I like what Clovis did. He tried to jump out. He punched that right side out and steered him back inside. And you know what? You can talk about, hey, there's a lot of cloth grabbing going on here. When's the last time, and I always talk to our players about this. When's the last time a referee called holding in the box on a punt return? it's usually way out in space. If you're in the box right now, this is where it's a great opportunity to play physical. Is that a correct way of saying it? And see, just like Ben, holds him on that line of scrimmage, as much control. Once he's released, that's where you want to end up, leaving him go so that the ref doesn't end up seeing you grab a jersey. This is our bubble technique. It's a tough technique because your timing's got to be perfect. Okay? And all it is it just making sure that, hey, I've released my man on the line of scrimmage, and this may be more for the edge guys. Okay? Where you're in space. And you know what? Trying to run them hip to hip after you release them from the box is easier to go bump. But this one here, where you're out in space, bubble technique, and you've got to make sure that you end up you-me ball. Okay? And then we work our bump technique here. Okay? Or catch, punch, and face with the bump. Okay? Now, what we want to end up doing is, and boy, when you take a look at this mat on the top, and he's working with KC, making sure you get that upfield shoulder, okay? And that's where you end up seeing that player fall off and make a play if you don't get that upfield shoulder. And we got our one play I just wanted to show, and this is our slingshot, and you may have to use this. Hey, you get beat on the line of scrimmage, no problem. Okay? Slingshot technique, and we work it. Base on one side, slingshot on the other, so that you get a sense of, hey, if I lose my guy, it's not over. I'm going to slingshot him around. The other things that we use double team technique on our structure. So the structure that we're going through here, all of our guys will have to do it. Okay, the only guys that are not involved are the O-line and maybe a couple nose tackles. This is our double team technique. So in other words, we've got two guys on one, and there should absolutely be no way that this guy gets downfield and is a part of the play. Okay? So it's double team. Okay? And it's just work. We don't have pads on. This gives us an opportunity to see that relentless effort of the guy trying to get off the ball. Okay? And I wanted to make sure I showed this one too. See those guys in the beautiful colored jerseys? Those are our quarterbacks. They get involved in this too. They're not out. They're involved in our special forces. They have to hold the ball. They may have to play. They've got to be ready to go. Now we've got another progression. This is our double team chip. So we've got a chip technique. We're going to double team the guy on the line of scrimmage, whether it's an inside guy, an outside guy, double team. And we're going to chip on the return, the fullback back there. So it's 4 eyes on 20. So you see him, we're going to double team, we're going to hold him up, just like the technique we were just doing in the previous drill. And then when the fullback releases, we've got chip and double, or double and chip. Okay? We take all of these components and put it into what we call our competition special forces. This is a drill, and you guys may have seen this already. This is a drill that we do training camp and probably in the bye, and maybe if coach feels that it's necessary once during the season. We're padded up. This is full go. This is live football. Okay. One thing that you'll see is on the top right here is we've got the coach indicating which way the return is. Okay. We've got these guys in black shirts. They're our quarterbacks. They're throwing the ball so that we don't have any errant balls. There is a good, secure catch, and we have got an opportunity to return. These guys on the line They are now going to compete, and it's live. Go downfield, tackle the ball carrier. Okay? Use the technique that you have just finished working with. Okay? I got to run these things through. And it is fight on the line of scrimmage right there. Okay? We're coming here. Lock and, or there we go, lock and ride. Okay? Backside. The drill that we were doing coming down the lines, this is the drill. When you take a look at this in the end zone, way over here, backside. Number one, you're never out of a play. Relentless effort, not only as a cover, but as a returner. Yes, this is live. Chase your man down. You got to get faster. Okay. Which way was the return? Okay. Look at coach. He's over here. Return to the left. Okay. Number 44. You've got to make sure you understand, what am I doing out there? Okay. Live football. Okay. These guys are working hard. Okay. Riding them. There's the return. Lock and ride. Okay. We had one breakdown. Okay. Last one. You can see which way the return is. Look at these guys. Okay. But never give up. Lock your man down. Okay. Last clip. Look at, we've got great leverage. We got great leverage. We got swoosh them right by on the back side of that. All you needed to do, cut them off. Now, Corbin, cut them off. Okay. Relentless effort. It's great watching, getting these players when they see this. Okay. Let's just take a look at a couple snaps. I've got 6 snaps of our opponents. Okay. And then we'll see if there's any questions. Okay. Just based on alignment, this is UBC. They've got 11 up and they are in our face right now. There's no need to be kick stepping. Okay. And I'll just flip it to the end zone. Okay. You can see the leverage that we've got. Okay. You can see that there's 2 guys off the ball. So our fullbacks have got a responsibility to scan. So you can see, as we're looking at our punt team, our bomb squad, you can see that on the left-hand side, there's 5 on 5, but 42 is deep. So we've got a good opportunity to scan. Right side, or our bomb squad left, we have got an overload, but 21's off the ball. So we can make sure that, hey, the man on outside, everybody else can lock down. Okay, now watch the technique. Punch and release. Okay, take a look at Jace over here. Let me see if I can just get that. He's got a punch and he's going to rip it out of there. Okay, you can see that along. Hey, it's just a punch, and check the snap. Lots of right on time. Okay, check across. Now the guys, hey, would the player have been able to see the body language of the player across from me? Is he coming, or is he like 40? May end up looking like he's coming, but he locks you down. You got to get that guy off you. Okay? You've got to use that technique. Okay? You just about seen, I just As you're coming down here, you can see Logan Bitts. Okay. He's over top of this and he almost ends up, hey, he's looking to stack him. Okay, we got a little jump, but you can see the kind of work that we're doing here. Now, I'm just going to go to the next clip here. With BC coming more than 50% of the time, we open it up. Okay, that takes and clears up the box. I'm just going to go to the end zone on this. Okay, so what you look at now is you've got the, wow. Okay. Perfect snap. Okay. The thing that when we open it up, our tackles have got outside edge. The only thing about our tackles on this one, George and Ramsey, they're opening up their shoulders, easy inside move. Now, something that I want to show you, Avery Dunster, number 52, right guard, takes and punches, restarts 40, and he's off. Ball gets launched. Okay, so our responsibility of our edge guys are two outside. One's got shot and one's got cleanup. If you take a look at the picture right now, our left side, we've got Nixon Vole, and we've got Logan Bitts coming down. Logan does a great job and he latches on. Not only is there great coverage, but there's a penalty. Pushing them back, flipping the field. Okay? I don't know if you've seen that, but watch Nixon Vole. Although he gets beat up going on, way outside on the outside over here. Okay? Way over here, he gets beat up, but relentless effort. We got to make sure that we play physical right to the end. I'm just going to make sure that we get a couple of clips in here. Okay, I want to get and show you. We open it up against, and our fullbacks, we end up scanning. So there's an overload on our right, as you can see it. We've got kick step. George opens up his shoulders, but Isaac scans inside out. Thackerty on the other side has got a balance, so he's just cleaning up. Okay, ball gets launched, it's out of there. Great coverage. We've got Logan Bitts, Nixon Vole on one side, Jace Peters on the other side, squeezing down, shot and clean up. Okay. I just want to show you a couple of clips of punt return, and then coach, we've got to shut her down here. We have got, this is our Outlaws team. And I'm just going to, you know what, we're going to go here. What you're going to see, guys, is on, as you're looking at the screen, we have got a double team here, double team chip here. Okay, and we've got punter control. He's coming through here, and he's coming around, punter control, making sure that ball gets launched. He's got pickup. Dual responsibility, what we call it. If number 5 goes out for a pass, Brendan's got him. But if that ball gets launched, he is going to make sure that, hey, I've got 33 after the ball gets launched. He's an ineligible receiver. So I've got, once the ball is launched, I've got 33. Before the ball is launched, I got 5. Dual responsibility right there. Okay. Then what will end up happening is our punter control guys, they'll wheel and pick up number 5. So let's see what happens. There's our double team. Okay. Our double team has a breakdown. Okay. Brian missed his. He's got the double team, but he was late on his chip. Okay, here comes our control. Brendan's got 33. He's locking him down. Now, coming downfield, this would be great. What we need to do, hey, we got catch, punch, and face, but fight the upfield shoulder. Get to that upfield shoulder. Shoot. Okay. Right there, upfield shoulder, make it happen right there. He'd be able to get through that crease. Okay, and we have got Brendan taking on 33. We've got our punter control guys coming around the edge. I would have liked to see Trumpy pick up 97 here. Just give him a run by. Okay, but if we crack that seam right there, upfield shoulder, that is giving us first downs. So last one, coach, I'm just going to scoot right ahead here. We go down to our Hardy Cup. And just when you take a look at matchups, oh, I wanted to show you BC. They have a real Purdue wall coverage, and you really have to work on matchups. But here we go. This is again, hey, we're locking down. Okay, great position release, but two edge guys. And this is where I look at it, and I may end up going, you know what? I think maybe we had, when we look at matchups, this may have been where the coaches, now I'm not sure about Kyle's technique on this, just letting him release inside like that. But we wanted to make sure, hey, I've got to match up that speed. Kyle's got to give us the effort, and we've got to make sure our technique is right. And we've got to get one step faster with Dunster on the backside over here. And all we got to do is just give us a run by. Just give us a run by. And we've got an opportunity to end up cracking to the boundary. Gentlemen, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of information there. If at some point in time you get a chance, hey, just and you want some of the details on our bomb squad, our outlaws, our method of success with the details of coaching points, hey, just give me an email and I'll get that out to you. So that gives you the picture of how we build our pyramid and what our responsibility of our players are, and try to make sure that the drills are applied in game and that we can at least look at it and go, hey, guys, we did this drill on the field. You should be able to do it for 3 hours Saturday afternoon. Coach, any questions out there, guys?